Okay, let's take a look at acehardware.com. I have the Ace website up here. I think there's a lot of opportunity here for them to increase their sales. I think they're doing between 3 and 400 million a year right now on the platform, and they could do a lot more. And that's just based on my couple hour analysis of this website, which we're going to go over right now. This doesn't cover everything. There's a lot more wins, but I'm going to pack as much value as I can into this video in the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm not sure how long this will go, but let's take a look on the homepage. First up is the header, and the header is quite large, and the reason I'm paying attention to headers is because I want to create more space here, more real estate on the website where we can talk about things like this Craftsman sale and this ad over here. So the Craftsman sale, maybe not the best thing to show, but we'll get into what we should be showing here. I personally, 20% off for Craftsman. I don't know if that's good. I have DeWalt, and I know $150 tool, I like to get around $99. So 30% off plus normally. Craftsman, I think, normally goes on sale more. So I don't know if this is necessarily what should be up here. But again, we'll get into the content here in a minute. The first big thing is the size of this header. And just for reference, let's hop over to Amazon. And the reason I use Amazon is because they've split tested a lot. And so we see their header here. It's just 2 rows, super small. Back over here, it's twice, 2.5 to 3 times the length, about 2.5. Amazon has a ton of highly paid engineers and design teams that have split tested stuff so much. So it just makes sense to, why not? It's public. The winnings are public. This is what works. This is all the results of all their tests. This right here, amazing. It's public to all of us who go to Amazon.com. We can see that. I wouldn't really look at something like Lowe's or Home Depot because they haven't tested near as much. I don't know exactly how much they've tested, but we know it's not near as much as something that's recently come out of like the growth stage, like Amazon or even a smaller startup as well. Obviously, most companies are smaller than Amazon. So, but I mean like startups that are say Series A or seed will have a lot more learnings and applications of those learnings on their website. So if we're able to decrease this header, and there's a few opportunities to do that. First of all is up top here. Let's talk about up top. It's the smallest font of anything really on this site. Down here, the fonts get quite large. I think it's because they're demographic. They're focusing on I think of people who go to Ace the most. I think of them as like my grandparents, maybe my parents. I go to Ace, but I don't think my peers do. I don't think a lot of people my age necessarily go to Ace. I think it's like 40 plus, 50 plus, probably 60-year-olds. I think that's who really frequents Ace. And so I think that's why like the large fonts are used throughout most of the homepage. Like these fonts are massive. And I would be surprised if they couldn't find something more effective than, removing there's white space around this image, for example, and then there's white space within the ad as well. It's like double white space, which is like in my opinion, not the most optimal use of space. And then of course the fonts are massive, and then this is the logo over here, which I don't necessarily know if they need to put their logo more on this. This could be used as like an ad for some display marketing, on like the Google Ad Network. This makes sense. Does it make sense on your homepage? Not as much so. But anyways, back to the small font thing. We deliver. I think that's obvious for most e-commerce platforms in this day and age. Do we need to say it? Maybe people don't know that Ace delivers. I think that there's a lot of people, probably a lot of different teams and a lot of fingers pointing on what should be added to the homepage of acehardware.com from internal different departments. I think that there's not enough people saying what should be removed maybe. And so some people have requested to get this up front and center, but I think there's better places. The better place to put this would be on like the PDP page, where people actually go in and looking at checkout options and how they can actually get something. They're already here. They didn't come to Ace with expectation that they deliver. Like the expectation generally is that they either don't deliver or they already know they deliver. There's not really any people going to Ace and be like, I wonder if, like, it's a very small minority of people who are like expecting delivery and then going to leave if they don't. I don't know. Anyways, getting down a rabbit hole there. Let's just keep going here. I think there's better places we can place that, specifically the PDP. Over here, I think this could be moved. I think we could take these icons Store locator. People are only going to really use this. I don't have access to the heat maps, assuming they have heat maps. But if they do, this click through should be pretty low. I expect most people looking for stores are going to go to Google and just look at the Google Maps data, which I'm sure they're keeping up to date on and whatnot. So I don't know if this needs to be up here. I think it could just stay in the footer. It probably is in the footer. It's probably a duplicate. Store directory right there. So I don't know which works better. Maybe store locator has been split tested, but it's weird they use two different names. I would use whatever converted the best with the highest click-through rate and then stick it right there. Back up here. And then move customer service down here, business accounts down here, and then we can get rid of this whole bar right there. Boom, win. Ace logo, all this stuff should go full width. This should be responsive. The margins shouldn't exist in the menu. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon menu, 100%. They're using the real estate. They use margins down here because it makes the viewing experience better. But we don't need them up top. We can leverage the space. The space is fully not used. There's even white space all up in here. Like we try to fill that out and decrease that vertical space. That's the main goal, when you're optimizing something for conversions in the design / UX world, is you want to make sure that, you can fit as much as you can here. And that, because the header is on every page on the site, right? It's not just the homepage. We're going to focus on the homepage for probably half this video. But there's the search experience, there's the PDPs, there's the checkout is probably the only place the header doesn't exist. That's just to increase the click, like the chance of distraction, and increase that conversion / checkout rate. So we got to figure out how to make this header vertically smaller. So again, got rid of that gray bar already. Ace hardware goes out here. These can come in here a little bit, and then boom, on the end here we can stick in some more of this stuff, store info, or it could be on the inside here, and then bump this out. You can get rid of all this right here. You can get rid of all this right here. Whoops, right there. Yeah, that's easy. And then there's room here to put all that. There'll be room here to put all that. All that can fit in. And I think the search bar size is right. I do think it's right. I think it's actually more right than what Amazon has. People are rarely going to fill in something this long. Amazon, if they needed to, could fit more up here and move in there. But you know what? They probably tested it. This is the right number of menu items or something, and so they're just going with that. And then all the rest of the menu items are here. Look how many options they have. They even have look at this, multi-billion-dollar acquisition, Whole Foods, nestled within a sub item. So they hide some stuff that's pretty substantial, but that's what works, right? So I think we should get rid of all this and move it up here. I think with the new changes, this being bumped up, I think the new, this line right here will be somewhere right here above departments. And then boom, look at all that. You have so much space, and you can refigure this out, make the 20% smaller. If it was a big sale, I'd go with this size, but it's kind of being like an alarmist given that I don't think it's that big of a sale, 20% off. And it's select. So it's not even all. It doesn't seem like a big sale worth really pushing that aggressive. I think if the goal here is revenue, we should be doing dynamic recommendations. Take a look here. A lot going on here. A ton going on here. But right here, these two are very similar. Pick up where you left off and keep shopping for, right? So we got some stuff that I was shopping for, some other stuff I was shopping for. We got all in one category, and then these are different categories like garden fertilizers, area rugs, outdoor post lights, and automotive sealants. Some things that I recently purchased that I should be purchasing again, according to them. Probably more likely things that are recurring, like pool chemicals and soda. Twizzlers, I don't know if that's as recurring. I think more it's just a craving, and people just buy one off. So their recommendations could even be improved, but you know what? It's amazing. It is excellent. Over here, some ads. And then up here, a big ad. And this is really cool because this is you can cycle through. There's a lot of stuff here. So Ace could really use a banner here that cycles kind of like that and inject this and this in there. And then use this bulk of it to really customize a tailored experience where people are actually going to be interested in. Because does blanket advertising Craftsman to every person on Ace, is it really applicable? No, I'm a DeWalt guy. I just won't buy Craftsman. It's just simple because I like, it's not like I'm some sort of contractor. It's Die Hard one brand. It's I have all the batteries for DeWalt. Craftsman is of no interest to me. So it's like, this is like really, I expect this to not perform too well to the general audience as much as something like this. Take a look. They have the tech, which is the coolest thing. It's right here. Recommended for you. Work on this. Remove the white space here. Make the pricing. If you want to go big fonts, you got room to go big fonts here. There's some weird spacing here. Fix this all up. Condense it down a little bit. Fit a whole bunch of them, and then boom, go up here. Pop it right here. And if you want this, there's room. There's now room up here. Like I said, that you could fit this banner up here in a new design with the new header, and you could put it cutting off right here. It'll end up being where like the racing, top of the word racing is. And then you have all the room right here. You could tons of recommendations. That's what you should be doing. And this will be gone because it'll be in the banner as well. And then like some more sales and stuff like that. Again, this stuff is okay, but it's not tailored. So why even use it? If I'm searching, the past 3 searches I've done on this website have been around fertilizer. There's a couple things I've clicked into, but realistically, there should be category recommendations right up here. Like it should be very obvious things on sale in the categories I've recently browsed. And this was literally a couple hours ago. Like me search, it's right here probably in the search history. Lawn fertilizer lowers pH down, which is like pool chemical. But I was just comparing the 2 search results there. But there should be like recommendations to those searches. That's a little bit of a bigger ask, a little bit of a bigger lift than some of the easier things I've discussed here. But let's keep going. So we've covered the header being too large. We covered how it should be responsive and go out here. Not the whole page, but just the header. It needs to be wider and more responsive. Margins are too big. Above the fold is just not maximized, right? The fold ends right here. This is all wasted. There's a margin here and then a margin within that margin. That ad already has a margin, if that makes sense. This is the right size. This is big. A lot of white space. There's probably some design constraints here on why they need that much white space, but I think we can still work with it. Let's talk about the website performance. So here's acehardware.com, a B score, 78%. Not bad. Definitely if you bring home a 78% on your report card to your parents, you're not getting that too much of a pat on the back. At least I wasn't. But if you go over here, we got Amazon at 98, A grade. Is it fair to compare to Amazon when they have so much money in engineering and whatnot? Not necessarily. So that's why I wanted to bring up a couple of smaller sites. There's my blog, 1-person development team, me. I sometimes have contractors, but on my own blog, no, I do not have any contractors help me with this. This is all me optimizing that. And then another site I own, I do have a contractor help me with that site. But 98, 96, 98, 78, I think they can do better, and the major call out here is the fully loaded time, 13.6 seconds to fully load the acehardware.com website. That's a problem, particularly in 2023 when people can't even sit through a 3-second video on their Facebook feed before scrolling to the next because it didn't capture their attention quick enough. 13.6 seconds. Interesting. Very interesting. What's even more interesting is if we actually look at the technical details. Quick background about me, computer science, University of Toronto is where I got my degree. So very tech savvy, but we're not going to make this video about tech. This is all about marketing, conversion rate in business, sales, particularly in marketing in this video. But, being an e-commerce website, it's great to have that computer science background because I can, kind of lend a little bit of insight on something like this. That's a lot of JavaScript. That could be compressed for sure. For sure there's something going on. The engineers need to look at that. There needs to be some cycles spent on that, figure out what the heck is going on here. That's crazy. More realistic, images will take up a large portion of that. Videos, fonts. There's JavaScript. You got a much more complicated experience on Amazon at 127 kilobytes versus 2.2 megabytes on Ace on an experience that's borderline static. Very little dynamic loads there. So that's interesting. That is interesting. The page size, Amazon's got down to 700 kilobytes, 800 kilobytes, less than 1 megabyte versus 3.2 megabytes on Ace. So quite large, but honestly, it's mainly just because of the JavaScript. 135 kilobyte HTML. Yeah, it's a little bit larger in each of these sections, but you know what? Like on Ace, but it's not a huge deal except for this. This is a huge deal. images might be able to be compressed a little bit more, but yeah, that's that. So Amazon's fully loaded is 8 seconds, about half of Ace's. Excuse me. So let's talk about some products. Let's get into searching a little bit. We'll take a look at fertilizer. Let's look at fertilizer. Big category here. Lawn care. Default sort recommended. I wonder what the algorithm is behind that. I'd love to see what the algorithm was. Okay, so let's look at Scott's, and then we'll look at Ace as well. So we'll start with Scott's. Things I love. Title, right? It's there. The ratings, the item number, manufacturer number, very clear. Price is clear. Interest free is an option. Amazing. I love it. Ace rewards, that's there. Quantity, add to cart, big red, lots of contrast, very easy to see. I love the white text. Very, I'm sure it performs half decent, right? We got add to list. I'd love to see add to list. Again, vertical space here. We got to keep it in mind. Until we're above the fold, then we can let vertical space kind of run free. This, I wonder if we could bump it up here. Bump the add to cart button a little bit smaller, and then a little plus like to list, and then you can click it and then you can add it to a list. Yeah, I think that would make sense. Save some space here, because really we got to get this up here. We got to get this above the fold. Get it when you can get it. On Amazon, you can see get it whatever. What's it right now? It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Get it by 5 p.m. is what they would say, right? With the quick shipping on Amazon. And so you want to tell people like when you can get it today if it's in store today, or get it when can I pick it up? And they're doing just that, and it's free. I like all this. I like the language. I think it just needs to be up here. It needs to be above the fold. I shouldn't have to scroll down to see this. That would help. Easy win right there. Now, other options, ship to home. This is interesting. Is the shipping is dynamic and it differs. Okay, let's get into that in a second, actually. We'll talk about the product photos. So you can click on these, hover over them to zoom in, and then you click on them again. It brings up like this other pop-up, and then you can like hover over to see better, click through them. Lots of pictures. A promotional item here from Scott's telling to buy their spreader too. Lots of images. I love it. I like the video too. Scott's probably provided this nice little commercial. I might have some audio if I turn my speakers on, but I have them off right now. And this is where it's kind of, this is what actually matters, is like the back of the bag. And we're going to get more into this in a second. But one really high level metric that's important with fertilizers is the NPK, right? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, I believe is the order there. That's what is really important to fertilizers. This is not just a fertilizer, it's also a crabgrass preventer. And so let's go over here. Title optimization, really easy win. This might be the easiest win here, because it's we're going to get into one more really easy win that would really help a lot here with conversion rates. But one is adding to the title. Amazon allows titles to be about 3 times this length. So if the thought was that this title is already getting too long, that's not necessarily the case. So I would add in the NPK, right? And the NPK, I remember down here. So everything's kind of, you got to go show more to show that, which I don't know if that's the right move. Another thing here, I mean, this is this is just a simple QA check that someone should be doing, whoever manages the website. I'm sure there's teams involved and there's a lot of moving pieces, but like there shouldn't be line breaks here. Like it should be, what's this? What is this white space? It's a massive waste of space. I mean, I don't know, man. It's one of those things. It's like if I did that for a client, man, I'd be fired. Like this can't happen. This is just hurting the website so much, and it's shocking to me that it here it is, right? So anyways, this someone pasted this in and it's messed up. There's a cutoff here. Use Scott's turf builder halts crabgrass preventer. So there's like line breaks here for no reason. It should go all the way over here and then line break. Anyways, and then also there might be less need of doing like show more, because this would, instead of being 5 lines, it would actually be 2 lines. And like, I don't know, it's just like a poor use of the space. And it's like a bug that I don't even know if they know exists, but like anyone doing, like, if you did iterations on, like, audits on this, like once every 6 months or something, you'd find it, and then you just get the eng team to fix it. And, you know, being a computer science major from University of Toronto, a fairly respected school, I can say that this, like, with confidence, this is not a huge lift. This is not as big as some of the other design changes I've suggested. This is like, man, just do it. Like, Monday morning, just fix this. It's very easy, very simple. Shocking. It's still it happens. You know, it's not a you know, $100 a month e-commerce store. This is a hundreds of millions of dollars per year e-commerce store. And so the more that I find things like this, I'm just like, hey, you fix this, you improve your site by, you know, a fraction of a percent. And it's like, that fraction of a percent is like millions of dollars. And you do it a few times and you're like, no, tens of millions, hundreds of millions. It's like, this conversion stuff starts adding up crazy when you're talking about at this scale. With startups that I help, it's like you're helping a company that goes from like 10K a day to 20K a day. Like, yeah, it's significant, but it's like, it's nothing compared to like what some of these changes would do to a website. Down here, show more. I don't like you have to do that. I don't like all this empty space. It's very, very wasteful. There's got to be a better way of showing this. Like, a designer should be able to spend like 4 hours and just pump out something way better. It's not a huge lift. You know, again, this is expectation. You could have it go from idea to production from like Monday to Friday, all teams involved. But here's the valuable info. This NPK we're talking about. This should not be buried in here. This should be, this 30-0-4 should be up here in the title. Easy win. Like I said, one of the easiest wins we'll see in this video is just taking that 30-0-4, popping it right up here. Everyone who's buying fertilizer knows what it means. Okay, now let's go back and let's go to the number one recommended product here in fertilizers. That is the ACE Weed and Feed. Okay, how's it differ? This image looks more fake. Do we see the other image over here? It's still like a digitalized image, but it's like, I can't hover over because it zooms in. There it goes. You see, it's kind of like bulging on the side, like it looks like a real bag. Over here, it's just like more square. If the demographic here is older folks, they trust ACE, but on any other site they wouldn't, and this would be fishy, and it would decrease conversions. It's best to get like a real picture on a white background of the bag. And then if you want to show the label, like, do another image. The fact that there's only 2 images here on an ACE brand product on the ACE website is crazy. They have all the info. It's not like they need to contact the manufacturer that's like, you know, Scott's or whatever, and they only answer emails once a month or something. Like, this is something they have internally. And then the major problem is this: you can't read. I'm a pilot. I have very good vision, better than most, and it's tested annually. And even while zooming in here, and again, most people are not going to do this. They're not going to go in here, right click, open, then zoom, and you can actually, because most shoppers, I'm assuming, are not super tech savvy. You can hold control and then scroll in and zoom. It just pixelates it, right? You can't read any of this. Yeah, I have my vision tested regularly. I'm very, very confident that this should be clearer. It's basically just the red here. You can see a little bit of the bold. You can see the net weight. You can see this is ACE knows how important this ratio is because it's right up top. Even on the weed and feed, it's a same product, weed and feed. 29-0-3 up, very clear, very easy to find, and they have it on the front too, I believe. So I think it would be cool if ACE made all products like, you should be able to just go to this section and you should be able to just scroll and you should be able to just see like what the different fertilizer ratios are, because you're looking for something, whatever, because you got clay soil and you need high potassium, but you don't want to buy potash, so you're going to buy some sort of blend, but it needs to be high in K, right? And so you're scrolling through. You're like, I need this specific product, and there's how many fertilizers are there? I mean, there's so many, but you can't compare them on the ACE website without clicking into all of them. It's crazy. It is so inconvenient, and really affects the user experience. So titles really need to be optimized on the site, and there's a ton of categories. This could actually turn into a fairly large project, but again, they could easily outsource this to me or to anyone, literally. Any sort of consultant or contractor, get this done at scale with a little team. Not a big lift. Optimizing titles is like level 0, level 1. It'd be cool if they had like filters, if we want to talk on the tech side of optimizations, there's a lot of good, useful filters here, but nothing here about NPK. So that's surprising. But it's I'm sure it's motivating for them to know that there's like lots of opportunity to improve their business here. Even with, e-commerce giants like Amazon flourishing, like, it's, there's lots of opportunities here for ACE to win and secure their share, as they have been doing. Now, let's keep going here. So we have product photos. We have the label, not enough product photos. We have the label being way too small. It's as simple as Monday morning, send an email over to whoever's, department's responsible for this, get the label, and then copy the text and plop it right here. Or even better, I noticed this down here. Look at this. Click here to see the safety data sheets for this product. Right click, new tab, boom. Here it is. It's an RTF file, which I believe is like a PDF. It just doesn't have the embedded fonts in it. Which means like branding might be a little bit off. There's obviously no branding on this because it's like some sort of data sheet. But for the label, you could easily do it PDF for cross-platform and just, I mean, this is the second easy one I'm talking about. Beside the title optimization is editing the descriptions. Another row. Click here to see the back label for this product. And it goes to a PDF, the original PDF, where you can actually see all this data, right? You can see everything here. I think it makes sense. It makes absolute sense to improve. We know that the more you provide for information to a buyer, a prospective buyer, the more they're willing to pay for a product. That's the same with anything, right? You're buying a car, you'll buy it if it's a good deal over the phone. But if it's like market price, you're like, I'm going to go look at this, right? Like you go to an auction, like cars are half price or whatever. They're not actually half price, but like they're discounted. You're willing to pay, you're willing to pay that with less info, as opposed to like picture a car that like has a 135 point inspection. Like, yeah, you'll pay more for the car with the 135 point inspection because you're more confident. The information you have is higher. It's the same thing with fertilizer. Same with anything on the internet. The more information you can get to someone, the more they're willing to pay. The more people that will be willing to jump on this and say, yeah, I'll give you $69.99 for this. But right now, I mean, this information here is all useless. This entire image is actually useless. I don't know why they have it, because you can't even read it. And it's like, has no one checked this? I don't know. I do not know. Coming from a startup world, it's a bit shocking to me. But I don't want to say it's only ACE. It's a lot of companies that have been, around for a minute or two, around for decades. Is this is kind of like par for the course, is that these websites have a lot of room for improvement. Let's go over to, so it's basically one image. It's one image, PDP. Not a good idea. 2 is bad, but given 1's not even readable, there's one image, and there should be like 6 to 8. Another thing is you could just like take this image, if you had the high quality version, and just chop it up into sections. Like, boom, take a square, trim that, crop that, boom, crop that, crop that, crop that. You don't need a fancy tool to just crop this 6 times. I mean, your average iPhone has that technology. Crop it all up, 6 images, boom, everyone can read it. That's going to help. Easy, such an easy win. Okay, so that's that. Product photos, these are good, but I especially for the ACE brand stuff, I would expect a lot better from ACE. Okay, during the checkout, so when you add to cart, I think I have it in the cart already. I would like to see here, like where it says get everything you need. There's up here in ACE Rewards, there's coupons. And the coupons are like, spend $75 and get $15 off. I would like to see that implemented here on this checkout page. So we have someone $5.01 away from using that coupon. You could easily put some language in here. Instead of this language, spend 501 more and save $15. And then boom, here's one thing you can do to increase that. And then fill this up. There's no reason to have this so empty. There needs to be more product recommendations to get these curve values up. More things people need. Like there's a number. If you're buying fertilizer, I mean, maybe they need like post-emergent for the weeds. I mean, this is like a weed and feed, but I understand weed and feeds are only pre-emergence, not post-emergence. So you could recommend other types of weed products. You could recommend other spreaders. You could recommend shovels. You could recommend soils. You could recommend fungicides. You know, it's just turned in July here. You know, some people are in some humid climates. Fungicide for sure. Get that in there. Anything that people are applying to their lawns, they clearly care about their lawns and need products. That this should be maxed, loaded up. Yeah, that's for sure. Now, I wanted to look at stock and inventory and shipping and things like that. So if we have, let's actually let's get rid of this. Let's go to, there's like a pH, this one right here. So this product right here. So Amazon, for anything that's heavy, Amazon is really expensive because they bundle it into the FBA fees and they kind of pass it on to the consumer as expected, right? So you have things like a 25-pound bag that's probably closer to $50 on Amazon. And Ace can really have an advantage here because they can, you know, ship pallets of stuff to the stores and you know, save a lot of money and pass that savings on to the consumer, as you're seeing here, is like $1 a pound almost, like pretty much. So I'd love to see that. Another thing is I recently purchased this, and there should be a banner saying you recently purchased this, kind of like there is on Amazon. That's so you know if I'm coming back because I ran out anymore, I can easily make sure that this is it, because you don't want people to go here, go into orders, trying to find it. The longer the checkout experience takes, the more it's going to drop the conversion rate. People will get distracted. The phone will ring, someone will ring at the doorbell. I mean, the dog will bark, the dinner will be ready, something like that, right? And you got to go. And so you just want to make it, yes, you purchased this once recently. Add to cart so you know it's exactly what you need. Move on. Okay, so that's that. Now so we're talking in-store. All products should ship in-store. I think it was this one that didn't. Just looking at this, 30 pounds. You can't pick it up in store, which is weird. I believe that all products you should be able to pick up in store from Ace. I think that just needs to be like, I don't know what it might be a corner case. Who knows, right? Who knows the whole reason behind this specific SKU, why it's not available in store. But it's a reason for concern. Like, the shopping experience on Ace is kind of confusing because you never know how a product will be available, right? Like some are available for pickup from store, some are available for delivery, some are available for ship to home, or any combination of that, right? Like some are, oh man, so this one's only shipped to home. And take a look at this real quick. Take a look at this. This is real funky. $18 shipping for 30 pounds. We got 40 pounds, right? It's more, is this the 40 pounder? Again, I just wish this information was easier to find. Man, oh man. 43 pounds, there it is. So it's a heavier, oh, there was one, maybe it was this one. It was just like really weird. So this one's $12. So basically like, yeah, this one's the 40 pounder. Yeah, so this is $12 a ship, and this one's $18 a ship, and this one's lighter. So Ace needs to figure out like some ways to make it simpler and less fine print. You know, they want to be marked as like trustworthy, you know, people you can depend on type branding. There needs to be like less gimmicks. The shipping is gimmicks. Like it's a different price. You never know. You have to check it. I understand they're just passing on the cost. They're keeping it simple. They're keeping it simple for them, I guess, is not really simple for the consumer. They're passing on that complication to the consumer, which is, I think they should be like, okay, buy any bag of fertilizer and have it shipped for like $15 or less. And then like, have like a system where it's like $30 to $40, it's like 15, and like under 30 pounds, it's 10, 5. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of rounded off and simplified. There's also some psychology behind pricing and like how we have 99 cent here, but how it affects the consumer. Like if it ends in a whole number, people assume they relate to like a value type purchase, and so they can validate things like shipping better when it's like a whole number. But there's psychology behind that. There's plenty of research. This video is not going to be just about shipping, but there is definitely some things that could be adjusted here. I think that Ace should ship it for free to the store for every single product on their site. I think they just need to simplify the whole site, all the SKUs. They have a lot of SKUs, but they don't have near as many as something like, some of the bigger stores. So I think they should just simplify it, pick this up in store for free. Anything on the site. Yeah, it's not available for a week, but pick it up in store for free again. Delivery, largely unavailable. I tested that a bit. My order got canceled and just never really retried. No reason for cancellation. They just can't. Ace just cancels orders and doesn't actually tell you why. Another UX flaw. Really poor experience there as a consumer, which is why I think 300 million in sales is really nothing compared to what they could do if they upped some of these issues and just had someone, a consultant go in and kind of review everything. Be a customer. Go through. Like there's so much to dive in here. Again, these product overview, this stuff is cut off. It shouldn't be cut off. This should be fixed. This is a lot less info than the other ones, but maybe it's just a simpler product, right? Interesting. So anyways, that's that. We talked about the homepage. We talked about the header being responsive, the margins being too big. We talked about the fold. We talked about the website being slow. We talked about the product photos, particularly for even Ace brand products like fertilizer. We talked about shopping, like checking out and being, promoting people to spend more, to save more. I mean, it's a given. It's gotta happen. There's coupons here. Buy this. You can get this. Just get that cart value up and get people spending more at Ace. And then shipping being all over the place, kind of, expensive sometimes, but just not always expensive. It's just all over the place. With a product like this, it might make sense to, let's say you have a $5 product and $10 product. The $5 product is $5 plus $5 in shipping. So it's still $10. The $10 product is $10 with free shipping. They're both $10. People associate the $10 product with free shipping to be the better route. They're more likely to buy the product with $10 in free shipping. I understand the psychology behind that is because people associate shipping with no value increase, whereas like if they're paying more for the product, they just assume the shipping cost is being eaten out of thin air, or it's gone to thin air and eaten by the vendor, and the $10 is being passed on to the value. So they assume they're getting a $10 item or a $5 item for the same price. So it's like, well, go with the $10 item for the same price. So people don't equate shipping with value, and that's what Ace is up against here, is that your only option here is to pay for shipping. What about, one option is just get it to the store and charge minimally for it. Or what if you just took this $18, threw it on here, and called it $49.99 free shipping to your house? It's not costing Ace anymore. It's very likely to improve conversion rates. It just makes sense. It's just the play that you would do in 2023 is not charge $18 for shipping. Okay, so this one I couldn't really fit into the video. I didn't want to screen record the whole process of me checking out and putting in my info, credit card info and whatnot. Actually, I used a gift card here to be specific. But you can see here in the checkout experience, actually, it's broken. I click place order, and both place order buttons, both those red buttons, I clicked them, and nothing happens. And I go into console, poke around, see if there's any JavaScript errors, because again, computer science background, I'm as educated as, your average engineer. I would build a checkout experience like this, and, can usually diagnose stuff a little bit. But you know what? It looks like, the basic things I checked, it's not something simple. It looks like there's something going on. It's quite likely happens to multiple people, and something that definitely needs to be addressed to increase this checkout rate. If you're looking for help with your startup or your corporation, I am a digital marketer, been in the space since 2009. I have helped a number of companies. I've been a founder twice, sold both companies. I was quite young when I did that. Anything to do with growth, growth hacking, optimization, things of that nature. I wrote a book on it. It's in Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Amazon, Walmart, Target, all those stores. You can find it. And here's a few things I've done. When I was 16, I was in high school at the time, built one company to $17,000 a month in revenue, which may not be as much these days, but it was a lot of money back when I think it was 2011, 2010. Time flies now. It's over a decade, I guess. But did quite well with that software. And again, I wrote a book on this, and SaaS company did that. That was acquired. It was called SERPClix, SERPCLIX.com. It's still up. You can check it out. Published a book on it. Did a direct to consumer, like a Shopify site, play with, basically maximized. It was converting quite well. We basically took traffic from Facebook and Instagram and scaled that quite well. All bootstrapped, no outside funding. Kind of where we're spending ad money, we're doing changes on our own dollar. It's not other people's money. You have to make money. Like, it's just one of those situations where you're back up against the wall almost every day, and sometimes the best comes out from situations like that. So I have experience doing all this. I'm not a master, but doing it since 2009. You come across a lot of problems, have to do a lot of solving, wear a lot of hats. So I have skills in a lot of different things: SEO, performance marketing, ad buying, paid, and of course conversion rate optimization as well. So tons of stuff in there. Any questions, don't hesitate, reach out. Josh@joshmacdonald.net is my personal email. I read all emails, even if I don't reply to all of them. Please do shoot me an email if I can be of help.